Dawson Rider Meijin.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here. Welcome to my review for the Deluxe Kiramagin from the new series Mashin Sentai Kiramager. This is going to be the main mecha of the series, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So these are the 5 main mecha in their base form, these kind of jewel forms. Obviously it's not as perfect as in the show when you first meet them and they're all literally just these rectangular gems and you can see all of the little pieces that are going to be happening when you transform them. But still, I really think the idea is cool, and I think that's going to be kind of a theme of this review, is that I think a lot of the ideas are cool. They are cool ideas. I don't know why I slipped into that, but the ideas are cool. Just might not be executed the best in every single one. But still, let's go ahead and take a look at them. So here we have blue right here. So if you're looking at them from head on, I mean, you can still see where they all come together and stuff, but that's mainly where like the primary rectangle shape comes from. And I do have to say I appreciate throughout this line so far with the mecha here, with these and with the weapons, with the see-through plastic and the general crystal feeling, I think they've done a good job of conveying it. But to transform him, very simple. You just, oh, that's for a different time. No, but you open these up here, are going to become the wings, and then you open up here, and this is going to be the nose, and you have the jet, and it looks pretty bland. I do like the design of it, like in the show too, and I think it looks cool with the crystal in this, you know, jet style, but the toy itself is pretty bland, and these guys are pretty small. I mean, I guess Triken and Ankylosaurus one from last year, whose name I can't remember, but those, Ankylos, there we go, were smaller Zords compared to the others, but this definitely feels like an overall smaller mecha. Here we have the copter one, which the pink really does shine on there, and I think it looks really cool with that little, like, cheap holographic pattern you would get in, like, toys that come in, like, quarter machines or something. But the transformation on this one's a little bit more involved. These two little helicopter blades, spoiler alert, the helicopter blades, but they go together here, and you have to latch them in between these two little pegs, and that's also going to come into play later in a transformation, but you're going to have to latch them here so that they stay put. But then you fold these backwards like this, snap them together, separate these, and then you have a helicopter. And then I like the design on this one. I think it works pretty well. I think the transformation's fun and simple. I think I like Jet's design overall better, but as a toy, I don't know, I kind of prefer this one. Let's skip over red for a second, and then Bokensha! Because these are like, they thought they were precious, get it? So green, let's go over because they're pretty simple here, because it's gonna be a car, and you basically just unfold it like this, and then you're done. And you have a little car, and then you wanna just put it in the Kamen Rider driver. Was it called the drive driver? Was it? I don't know, it's been a minute, guys. And you can also do this mode, thanks, spoiler alert. And you know, it looks fine for what it is. I think that the jewel vibe is represented well in this and kind of has that holographic feel, so they did a solid job on it. Now yellows is pretty simple as well. You just kind of get the camera to focus. That's a step for me, not for you. And you unfold this little bit, because this actually is the little, almost said a little hook, the little claw, and then you spin it around like that, and you can spin it either direction because it kind of functions like that. It's kind of like a mini version of the little shovel from Bokensha. See? It all connects. Bokensha! It's got the world's most tiny and adorable little shovel claw mouth, and that's really funny, so that's a thing. Alright, and then so red, the big daddy of them all, looks the most seamless in this mode in a way, except for these because it's got the most surface area, but its transformation is very simple. You just fold this down, and then you can technically be done, but you can also fold this up, and then this little bit folds out. There we go. And you'll see that there's that little thing here to do that, and you kind of get some classic fire truck stuff. And this one probably looks the best overall in most respects, since it's the largest one, you know, being the primary and stuff like that. So on their own, just as, you know, individual mecha, I think they look fine. They definitely seem a little small, but I do think they do a decent job of conveying, is that conveying? Conveying, there we go. Michael Scotted it for a second. Conveying, you know how it is. No, but conveying the crystal feel of them. And I've certainly seen worse individual Zords, and I think the sort of see-through simplistic design of them makes them work well. So if you want to display them like this, they honestly don't look too bad. They're not like, oh my god, these are the best ever, but I kind of like them a little bit more than some of the individuals like Triken and Ankylos, which seemed a little bit less than compared to the bigger counterparts. But as a unit, they actually aren't bad. Okay, so now let's do some combination transformations. We'll set these two guys aside quickly because there's actually some really neat transformation differences in this one. So we'll kind of set this guy back to one in regards to this. And this is all very simple. You move this up, separate these, they're going to become the legs. Move these back like we had them, except now they're legs. And then swing this around here, and it's going to become the arm, you'll see. And then make sure that attaches. It's really funny because when I first was transforming this, I was like, wait, there's got to be something in between here, right? This is so short. But no, it's a short guy. He's a short guy. And then this bit here is going to become the other hand. Then for green, you just set it on top. Here, there's a little peg that lines up, and there you have the car head mecha. No, you're supposed to move this out of the way, and then there you have Land Mage. This is the formation with just red, green, and yellow, obviously. Kind of almost like your classic one we've had in recent years a lot, where you have 3 out of the 5 Rangers have a mecha, leaving the other 2 to the side, but we're actually going to get to do something with those other 2, which is neat. And I actually like this better than I thought I would. Spoiler alert, I've been saying that a lot in this review, but spoiler alert, I like the full combined mode best overall. But this, just as a toy, looks a little bit better than I thought it would. It's pretty solid, you know, and I like the way it transforms in some ways, but we'll get to that more in a second. Because these 2 are not left high and dry, which is a really, really neat thing in my opinion. So these are going to become the legs right here, and fold these back and you'll see that ready there. And then this is going to become the top body part. So fold these out and you can see that there's going to be arms right here, and then fold this up. Actually, it's this way. There we go. So there we go. So you have the top there, and then you just snap them together. And you have Sky Mage. This is really cool. I really like this little mecha. I think it's adorable. I really like that when you have this combination of the core 3 here. I don't know if they're the core 3, but you know what I mean. Where you have this 3 mecha combination over here. I'm pointing to off screen. Look, you can see his foot. But you can actually do something with the leftovers. And it's clearly planned this way, but I really, really like this approach. I really dig this little mecha. I think it's adorable, like I just said, like 3 times I feel, but I think it looks really neat. I think this was a really cool idea, rather than having that classic situation where you have 3 of the Rangers having a mecha, and then the other 2 just kind of wait in the wings to have their own formations. You have this one and a little buddy robot. I think it's unique. I like the designs for both. I'm pretty happy with it. So, but you also can combine them into the all 5 mode, which is pretty simple. We'll set blue aside for a second, and for pink, what you're going to want to do is you're going to actually line these bits up. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that this is up this way, but this is up this way. And you're going to kind of line these up, and there's these little pegs and these little sort of divots here that kind of line up to hold it in place. Kind of similar to when it was in gem mode and you had them holding it in place, but just together, but these are holding them separately. Then after you do that, all you have to do is snap this in right here. You'll see these 2 little pink parts that snap right here between right there. And then for blue, it's going to become the sword, so it's actually not too dissimilar from when you're making the jet mode, except you're just pulling this part out. And then this little part extends to make the actual sword, and then separate like you would for the legs for Sky Mage, except you're going to be taking out this little handle here for the sword mode, and place it in his hand like so. And then how do you get the different helmet? There's a little secret compartment right here, slides right over, and you have Kiramazin, the combo of all 5 together. Very simple. I overall do like the design of this mecha, but this is one where it clearly looks way better in the show. Like when I first saw it in the show, I was kind of blown away in a way because I didn't expect it to look that cool, because I'm not usually a huge tech-based guy, but this is kind of a bit of both. But the actual in-show suit, that's hard to say, looks really good, and this is a classic case of the mecha looking more like a pudgy brick compared to the way it looks in the show, but it still has a really neat factor. Like I said, I really like the way that the sort of shiny bits here and the clear plastic do convey the gem theme very well. So there is a certain neat looking factor to it when you have them all here, and I really like the way you can see all 5 colors on display. I think that looks really nice, but it's definitely one of those where the look doesn't translate as well from the show to the toy, so it's pretty much par for the course Sentai mecha. It's what you're expecting, but I would like them to advance a little bit and just be able to come up with more wispy mecha and just use words like wispy. Like, just because something's always been done that way isn't a good reason to keep doing it. I'd like to see them advance things to make it a little bit better. So this is a pretty classic Sentai mecha in that regard. Like I said, I do like the way that this functions. I like the uniqueness of them starting as gems, and then you have the mecha modes, and I like having the 2 little mecha with the mini mecha, so you don't just have a 3 formation with 2 randos left over, and I like the way that works and how simple it is to then put them all together. The transformation's easy and simple, and I really like aspects of it, and they're fun to do, but that's kind of what I was saying at the beginning of the review, is I have a lot of respect for some of the functionalities, and I think they're really neat, and I liked working with them, but it's just not as cool as it is in the show. Like, I think if you're really hyped up about this, you'll enjoy it because it's a classic Sentai Mecha experience, but it just doesn't look as cool as the suit in the show, and I think it's one of those ones where I notice it the most, so it's kind of unfortunate, and I wished it looked a little bit better, because it's a pretty classic Sentai brick, and it's also very small. Unfortunately, I already packed my Ryusoulger stuff away for now, so I don't have a comparison, but it's definitely a bit smaller than last year's main mecha, so it's weird the way that fluctuates, how we'll all of a sudden have tall ones and then really small ones, and so you have this out of scale bit. So overall, I would say this is a solid Sentai mecha with some really cool creative ideas, and I like the way it works, but I wish it was just a little bit more advanced. It definitely feels like we're playing of some old school playbooks in terms of the way it's designed, leaving you with a classic Sentai brick, and I feel like I'm more disappointed in that than I should be, but I just wish we would advance that. But I'm still happy with it in a way. Anyway, that's about it for this one, guys. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps, entering that bell so you get notifications for my videos. Till next time, Dawson Rider, signing out.